Rob Dawson. Rob, unbelievable. Rob, I had this group so wrong. I might as well get fired from ESPN. Rob, give me your initial reaction first from Australia's victory against Denmark.
Yeah, massive. I don't think anyone, even in Australia, thought that they were going to get through the groups. It was prize enough that they were here at all in Qatar having qualified. So anything above and beyond that was a bonus. And this will be considered a huge bonus because I just don't think it was expected at all for them to get through the group, particularly at the expense of Denmark, who did so well at the last Euros.
It was unbelievable. Some of the players from Australia's side, by the way, were put together from obviously the Australian League. I believe Aaron Moy had to be recalled back into action for the squad. I'm Peruvian, so this hurts a lot for me because obviously Peru and Australia played for that play-in match to get into the World Cup. And it's unbelievable what they have achieved, honestly. But let's focus just a little bit on Denmark. How disappointed has it been for them? Because a lot of us, including, our colleagues, had them going very far. I had them topping the group, Rob. What's going on? What happened to Denmark?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would have agreed with that. As I say, they did so well at the last Euros, getting deep into that tournament. Obviously, they've got Christian Eriksen back for this tournament, who's been in such fine form for Man United. I think if you look at that group, when the draw is made, you think France and Denmark are the teams that are going through. As I say, I don't think even people in Australia would have expected Australia to get through. Look, the World Cup throws up these things, don't they? They throw up these results, these games, these fixtures, and you can just never tell. And if Saudi Arabia can beat Argentina, then Australia can get through a World Cup group. And the thing about the knockouts, no one will want to play these teams. If you're in the last 16, you're there for a reason, and no one whether it's Argentina, whoever they get in the next round, no one will want to play Australia because they've shown that they've got the grit, the determination, that Aussie spirit. I suppose it's a cliche, but it's true. To get through when people don't expect them to, and that's a huge positive when you're in tournaments like this.
Yeah, Rob Dawson, you just said a very good point, specifically about this World Cup, which is at this point, because I feel the quality of play in club competition, wherever it is, the heightened knowledge of how a player trains and gets ready to be a professional. I feel that the margin of difference between an Australia, a Costa Rica, even a Tunisia who beat France today, and everybody else, the top contender, is so thin that anybody can beat anybody. And we have seen it, obviously, aside from the host Qatar and the disappointment of Wales. So many teams have been able to pick up valuable points. And Australia, by the way, could become the first country in World Cup history to advance to multiple knockout stage rounds under different confederations, because they advanced to the round of 16 in 2006, playing under the Oceania Confederation. Obviously, they moved to the Asian one, and they could become the first one. Unbelievable. All right, let's cue in, by the way. We have Alexis Nunes, I believe, is joining the show. Alexis, this is amazing. This is the first time me and you are talking. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to ESPN FC Daily with Rob Dawson, James Ollie later. Alexis, how are you? Give me your initial reactions of what we just saw as Australia make it to the round of 16.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Sorry for the shaky camera work. We're here just walking out of the stadium. Got some very, very happy kangaroos bouncing about. We saw lots of those inflatable kangaroos. And look, it's a great story, right? Who doesn't love happy kangaroos? And this for Australia, I just feel like, as you guys were talking about, I don't think anyone really gave them much of a chance. Just speaking to all of the boys are here with us. Nadim Anu is here with us. And even Nadim was saying, none of us in our brackets had them getting out of the group. None of us. And now we've all had to kind of go back and look at our brackets and wonder where we almost went wrong because we didn't see this coming. But to be honest, overall, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That game was a bit woeful. It wasn't a pretty one. It wasn't sexy football. It wasn't anything like that. But you know what? The Aussies were obviously playing for the draw. Denmark really didn't threaten them at all. The crowd was trying to get them going. The Aussie crowd was amazing. But in the end, that goal, one-man show there from Mathew Leckie was amazing. And then the stadium just went to bits. All the kangaroos were being thrown everywhere. Scarves were being thrown everywhere. And now Australia out of the group stages. Imagine that, for the first time since 2006.
Absolutely. And that was obviously, we were talking about it, how the famous Totti dive and Australia were so good in that 2006 World Cup. And I was just telling Rob, Alexis, that as a Peruvian, I'm smiling bitterly because it's amazing. that they have been able to do this. Let me ask you something, because it's your first, appearance for us in the show. You've been working so hard over there. Fantastic to see. What's been your highlight so far from being there and seeing the fans and everything? What's been your highlight so far at the tournament?
Oh my days, there's just been so many, to be honest. I suppose honestly it has been seeing all of the fans, because they have showed up, and look, I think we all knew there was a lot of interest surrounding this World Cup, for the good and the bad. The fact that it is, the first one in the Middle East. It's a long way to go for all of our nations that are used to playing football and following our countries, around the different confederations. And just seeing all of the fans show up, knowing that they come from so far, especially the Mexico fans. I mean, what amazing vibes they always bring, always full of song, always dancing. I remember going to that match at Mexi House. We were invited, so we weren't at the stadium. We were at the Mexico fan base to watch the match against Argentina. And look, everybody wasn't really hopeful about that match. They were expecting Lionel Messi and company to take care of business, and that's exactly what they did. And literally about, I want to say 15 minutes after the full-time whistle, everyone kind of was quiet, it was down, and immediately after they got up and they were dancing to Música Ranchera. It was amazing, and they carried on like that for the rest of the night. Just reminds you that this is a World Cup. Of course it can be so heartbreaking, but it's such a unique and special thing to be at. You really feel like the world is here. We love this game so much, so even though it can tear out your heart, it really just brings together some amazing stories and amazing vibes as well.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.